And so now I can go and I can insert a sketch instead. So instead of jumping straight into extrude or revolve or one of these advanced features that we have over here, I'm going to just start with the sketch. So here's my sketch button. I'm just going to select it. And most sketches you want to do in a 2D environment. I mean, you can do 3D sketches in Fusion 360, and it is something you can do, but in most cases you can do a lot with the 2D sketch. And so if you're coming from AutoCAD or something like that, then your 2D sketching skills are going to translate very well into this. You're going to be able to use that to design some really complex parts quickly. It's telling me to select a plane or planar face in which to start from, so I can choose any one of these. I'll just select this one. And you'll notice it actually took and rotated my view to look normal to that. So, that's always something nice. You want to be looking directly at it. So now we're looking directly at this. Right now, I'm in my line tool, and I can tell that again using the icon surround that's to the lower right of where my mouse cursor actually is. That's showing me I'm in my line tool. If I use the drop down under sketch, I have many different line tools and sketching tools that I have access to. And I mentioned, there's different types of rectangles, and there's different cases where you'd want to use a 3-point rectangle versus a center rectangle, right? There's different types of circles and arcs and polygons and all kinds of stuff. So I would imagine that even if you're not familiar with 3D design, that you're familiar with a lot of these different sketch entities. So I'm not going to spend too much time covering each and every one of these, but for this case, we might want to start with just a line. So I'm going to just grab my line tool, bring my cursor into the graphics area, and I can just start sketching wherever I want. So I'm going to just click to start, and I'm going to move my mouse cursor down. And you'll notice that it's showing me some information about this line that I'm drawing out. So it's giving me the length of the line, it's giving me an angle of the line, it's giving me also that blue icon that's I can't really point at it because I'm in the middle of sketching here, but that little blue indication to the right of the line, that's actually showing me a relationship that's getting created. So that relationship, which you can see in the sketch palette over on the right hand side, or constraint if you will. So we'll make this line 3 inches long. Just type in 3 and hit enter, and then from there we can select to end the line at the bottom there, and then continue to sketch out some different entities. So I'm going to sketch directly to the right, maybe go at a small angle here, up, and then maybe back to the point there. So not quite going after that same top shape that they used in that PowerPoint presentation, but there we go. Now I've closed the sketch out, and automatically it ended that line command for me. So whenever you create a closed contour that we have here, it's actually going to close those lines for you automatically. So that looks pretty good, but it's not really constrained in many ways, and it is constrained in a couple different ways. Like this constraint right here is showing me that there's a perpendicularity. So if I want to add additional constraints, or if I want to add dimensions or different ways to define the size and shape of this thing, I'm going to use things like dimensions. I'm going to use things like my constraints. The dimensions tool can be accessed using the drop down under sketch. You can see the sketch dimension here, and also if you're looking at that cheat sheet that I give you, there's actually a couple. There's a lot of keyboard shortcuts that were added in September. So if you hit your D key on your keyboard, it's also going to take you to your sketch dimension tool. If you are going to be sketching a lot and you want to add dimensions quite a lot, you'll see this little arrow next to the command there. If you click that, it's going to add a shortcut to your toolbar there. So it'll enable me to access this sketch dimension tool much easier than before. So let's go ahead and just click that tool there, my dimension tool. So we have this first dimension determining the overall length of that first line. So we'll click to add a second dimension here. So we'll just click to start on the line on the left and end on this vertex here. And right now it's this arbitrary number. I'm going to make it half an inch, and then I can dimension from line to line, and we'll make this 1.25, and I'm just going to jumping to whatever is closest to what I've drawn there already. And you can do your angle dimensions as well. So just click two lines that are at angles between one another, and you can do either the acute or the obtuse angle there. So let's go ahead and do this one here. We'll do this at 52 degrees. And just like that, we're adding these constraints, we're adding the dimensions, we're actually tying this thing down, and we're going to get it to where it's, fully defined at some point. So I guess it's saying that this is perpendicular to this line. Okay, so it used some inference there, and you can actually delete these out if you don't want them. I mean, if I want to delete that out, I just select and hit the delete key, and now I can move that in different ways. This thing's actually unrestrained in the corner. I can actually fix just one of the corners here to start to tie this thing down, but now I can continue to change this thing and add more dimensions. And it is actually fully constrained in terms of its location because of the dimension here and the angular dimension. So